Football is
American
America.
football,
Let's
football
go.
is America. If you don't like it, you can kiss your candy ass.
It's a moment in time. I don't give a damn.
Oh my God!
You love this.
It's 30-27. Chiefs win. Chiefs win 30-20.
Oh my gosh, the end of this first half is on drugs. Flags are coming out. The Ravens just got the football from the Patriots, and then the Ravens fumbled it. But there's a flag on the Patriots. Let's see, was the pass forward? There's 2 fouls in the play, 1 by each team. Oh, roughing the passer. Okay. The big story here, Lamar Jackson just was injured and exited the football game. Rough. I had Lamar Jackson. They're just going to take a knee and go to halftime. I hope they give him a shot and he can come out. Because now all I have left is Christian McCaffrey and the 49ers defense. And H-Hand today, 18 points. What did he have? 15 rush attempts for 81 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 catches for 9 yards. I'm used to him having 5 or 6, even 8 catches. So if Lamar Jackson doesn't come back in, I'm going to need exactly 20 points from Christian McCaffrey to win tomorrow. Christian McCaffrey has gotten over 20 points plenty of times this year, but he hasn't done it since week 12. He didn't do it against Cleveland, then the bye week, then Tennessee last week. He had 15 points. And I'm going to need one of those legacy games from him unless we get Lamar Jackson coming back. They showed the replay. He got a knee in the back. It didn't even look that serious. The injury, it just looked like a normal football play. But Lamar Jackson has become so fragile these days, man. Trayvon Henderson got hurt as well. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. Oh, goodness. And you are? Is that my TV? This one in here? Okay, I was just curious. Oh, go. Man, Lamar Jackson, please don't be ruled out. All we can do is hope. Yeah. I don't think we're going to get an update until they come out of halftime. Mm. Man, they're talking about the Broncos right now. There 6 teams in the AFC are still alive for the 1 seed. The Broncos are the only team that control their path, though. 'There we go. Dang. The Steelers said we don't have time for victory Mondays right now. Dan Campbell sat at the podium. Man, heartbreaking for Detroit. Now, they need Green Bay to lose to the Ravens next week. There might not even be Lamar. And then they also would need Green Bay to lose to Minnesota because Green Bay has a tiebreaker over the Lions. So the Detroit Lions are going to weirdly be ginormous Viking fans. Seattle currently the 1 seed, but the Niners control their own destiny, just like the Chargers control their own destiny. See, how did Ford Progress not stop with 2 seconds on the clock? Oh, man. Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams taking on the 49ers, who control their own destiny, and then the Ravens and Packers playing. The schedule gets really weird. I mean, there's football on Saturday, there's football on Thursday, there's football on Sunday, there's football on Monday, and it's just like everything until the playoffs start, it's just wonky. And I think what they try to do is if you play on Thursday, they try to put you on the Thursday the following week, and the same thing with Saturday. So there's at least some kind of, rhyme and reason. I'm just trying to see if there's any news on Lamar Jackson. I really need him back. Please give me good news on Lamar Jackson. Please give me good news on Lamar. First half officially over in the second half. Getting ready to kick off. 10-10. So kind of a close game, and I'm pretty sure. Let me see something. If the Ravens lose tonight because the Steelers won, let's say the Ravens win against the Packers and the Steelers lose to the Browns somehow, and the Steelers lose to the Ravens, the Steelers would still get in. So simple as this. The Ravens lose tonight, they're eliminated from the playoffs. Also, here is the return. Let's see what happens. Okay, they're stretching him. He's not ruled out. They said they're working on him right now. They're stretching him out. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, okay, that's good news. Then he's not ruled out. This would be huge for me. I'm currently down 20, and all I have left is CMC and the 49ers defense. And Diggs gets the catch right away, picks up 4, and Diggs is having himself a day after being kind of quiet in recent weeks. Diggs is out here playing a big role in an important game. 5 receptions, 24 yards away from 100 yards receiving. And the second half just started. So Drake May looking to him early and often. Right. Here we go. 3rd and 6. Let's see if the Ravens can get off the field. Incomplete. No flag. I thought that was holding. I thought that was holding on Andrew Wiggins, but they're going to say it's just great defense. Hey, why didn't any of these comments come in until now? That is so weird. That is so weird. These comments just popped in. Wiggins still in the league? I think well, he was drafted last year out of Clemson, or 2 years ago. But yeah, he's in. They were waiting on a ginge. Love it. Here is the punt. They said Lamar Jackson wasn't ruled out. Okay? They're stretching him out to see how he feels. So we're going to see what happens there. All right, Tyler Huntley's coming up for the first series. 1 second. Man, this is going to be awesome. I was kind of worried because if we beat Jacksonville on what was it? Today. If we beat Jacksonville today, then playing the Chiefs with a third string quarterback, if we were to beat them, we would have locked up the 1 seed. Essentially playing for nothing week 18. Nothing at all. And people said, well, Denver would have not played their starters. So you're telling me from the end of the Chiefs game, which is this Thursday, Denver wouldn't have played anyone until the divisional round? That is, let's see. When is the divisional round of the playoffs? January 17th. Okay? So that means from Thursday the 25th to January 17th, there would be 7, 14, 21, 22, 23. They would be over 3 weeks of not playing football. Over 3 weeks of not playing football. And to me, that's just too much time away from the game compared to wild card teams that were playing for something week 18, then a week later, one in the wild card round, and then that team's coming to play you. And then here comes a team that hasn't played in nearly a month coming to play a team that's kind of on a roll. I said this, I think yesterday, but I'm like, the NFL happens in quarters, and each month is like, it has a whole different story. Like how we feel about one team could change drastically in 3 weeks. Like imagine if the Ravens had like 3 really good wins, and then they're in the playoffs, and then they blow their opponent out in the wild card round. All of a sudden, it's like you would be like feeling entirely different about them. So the amount of time we would have off, one of these teams could end up being scary and hot. And now we put ourselves in position where we have to play week 18. We have to beat the Chargers week 18, which means the energy in the stadium is going to be crazy. If we win, you're going to get Bo Nix running around the field like last year, high-fiving all the fans because we clinched home field advantage. We won our division all in the same game. And that would be such a massive moment. And then they only missed 1 week of football, and then they're back into it. So to me, like if you're trying to win the Super Bowl, I don't think winning today was the best path. And that's not even to mention how humbling and reevaluating this is. Like this is the perfect time. You don't want it to happen week 18 because then it's like, oh, we've kind of lost our mojo. You want it to happen now so you can go beat up on the Chiefs and then win the game against the Chargers, reinstill who you are, remember how bad losing feels, and with the understanding that it can happen to us anytime. Like we're not safe. We're one bad game away, and I think as much as it hurts and it stings, like if I was going to the doctor trying to order a Super Bowl ring, the doctor would have ordered a loss today. Yeah, I really. Colts did so many times in a row, dude. Have the rest. We always had a debate whether rest guys or then get too much rest and then play and get hurt. Like that was a 4 year in a row or something. And I felt like the other losses kind of destined to man. Like that's a good sign, hopefully. Yeah, I think so. I think we're gonna look back on this and say, man, that was a really good thing. It sucked, but not. Sometimes things that are necessary hurt. I'm just glad that this isn't a playoff game. Come on, Lamar. Please, please, please come back. Lamar's playing against himself. He's got to be. I mean, the Ravens' playoffs are on the line. Like, this is a playoff game for the Ravens. If they lose today, they're eliminated. I don't know why I haven't heard the announcer say this, but this should be the biggest story. May's going to scramble, pick up 8 yards. Trevon Henderson's out. Jeez. This is a big part, man. This is a big part of winning a Super Bowl is being healthy at the right time. And for a lot of teams, that is unfortunate. Jacksonville dealt with a lot of injuries today. They weren't an issue today, but we'll see if they're an issue moving forward. The Patriots, injuries piling up. And their grit is going to be tested here. I mean, this Ravens team, they're playing for everything, but let's be real, like they haven't been good this year. They haven't been terrible, but they've been, a 7-7 football team. And if the Patriots are going to make a run, they have to be able to win these type of games. Ravens, man, they are absolutely desperate. But the fact that Harbaugh said he's getting some work done makes me feel like it's possible. Here we go. Snap, hold, kick. Good. Drake May is aura farming. I wouldn't want Lamar at that price. Mahomes and all. What's his playoff record? And I felt like the other losses were kind of. Oh, right. I wouldn't want Lamar at that price. What's his playoff record? Yeah, remember when me and Rick got in that screaming argument about whether or not they should pay Lamar? And man, that would be a fun thing to revisit. I think it was. Let's see. It was man. I remember I was at the Wounded Warrior Olympic Games. That's crazy. Right? Aaron. Man, I have streamed in so many different places. I pulled over on my drive from Washington to Tennessee to do a live stream. I I've been so dedicated to this. I mean, I still am, but man, when I go back and see these videos and see like the different backgrounds and I remember like why I was in that place and how inconvenient and difficult it was to get those specific videos recorded, it just reminds me how much I've done to make this work. This was it. This was right. I think Rick even turned it into its own video. Here's a run with Derrick Henry. Lions, Rams, Super Wild Card Weekend, and I was looking here already for that. Here it is. Interviewing Tyler. Does Lamar deserve wide receiver weapons? I think that was the one. This was it. I remember because I was sunburnt as hell. This was it.
1,000-yard rushing that year as well.
Who cares? You're a fucking quarterback. If you're literally
What do you
asking,
mean, who cares? What are you talking about?
It doesn't matter.
That's offense. Because the fucking
It
weapons
doesn't-
around
no.
them. What do you mean?
It
This
doesn't-
is what I'm saying.
No, why would you? It would be a waste of talent to bring Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd away from a real pocket pure quarterback. Joe Burrow is a pure quarterback. He's going to throw the ball. Lamar Jackson's going to get, 3,000 yards passing? If he's going to run the ball, then you don't need what is it? Are we giving him weapons and he's going to be a pocket quarterback? Or do you want him to run for 1,000 yards? And we're not going to invest in the receivers because he's going to throw for less than 3,000 yards.
Not get.
Crazy.
I still think, though, if you're an organization like Aaron Rodgers has made wide receivers really
Going
good.
deep, caught.
But one of the biggest reasons he's trying to get off the Packers is because they were not getting him top talent. Maybe that was one of the reasons they've not won the Super Bowl since they did it in 2012, 2011.
No, that's just a clutch. That's just something someone without Super Bowl says.
What?
I'll take excuses for not having Super Bowl rings for 500.
Right, but if you're an organization knowing that you have a top 5 quarterback and you're not getting him weapons and you're saying you're a top 5 quarterback, you should make these guys stars. That's not a way to run an organization. As a full
Devontae Adams was a star.
Right, he was a star, but I'm saying like first round talent stars, and that's what we've been talking about. These first round guys are coming in and immediately making impacts. Justin Jefferson, oh my God, how did we forget this guy? The Bengals, Jamar Chase.
Chase.
Yeah, he's
T.
a top
Higgins.
wide receiver. T. Higgins. Who else was Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson? You're telling me in those last decade where you've had Rodgers, when you have not won a Super Bowl, your first round picks haven't gone to wide receivers. Instead, they've gone to maybe one, but instead you're picking up Jordan Love and a defensive tackle or a linebacker. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think as an organization you're doing your due diligence to make this team win a Super Bowl. You're in it for other reasons.
You also have to think, if you're like, the Chiefs just ran it with the people they had. So It's like, you're a back-to-back MVP. Like, if you're asking me, like, is he supposed to just work with what he has? Yeah. Aaron Rodgers is going to win the back-to-back MVP. Like, yeah, he's supposed to. He didn't have any less than Mahomes had this year and won a Super Bowl with a terrible defense. Like, if you want to be great, like, yeah, you have to. Dude, Manning, when he was rehabbing his neck, went on to the practice squad to work with the receivers in the practice squad and got them contracts with teams, the practice squad players.
But
like,
I guess when I just again, I have a hard time thinking that that's also a good excuse for not getting your quarterback talent.
He had Devontae Adams though.
Right,
like,
but what I'm saying is you need one guy out of those 6. How long were they together? 6 years.
6 years. You got to win a Super Bowl night.
Yeah. So why didn't he? If Devontae Adams is so damn good and you only need one, why didn't he win a Super Bowl with him?
That's what I'm saying.
Why didn't he win a Super Bowl?
He didn't play great in the playoffs.
Huh?
Because he didn't play good in the playoffs.
But imagine if he had more first-round talent around him and the organization did their due diligence and we're like, hey, you know what Rodgers needs? You know what we need to win a Super Bowl? You know how we look good as a GM and as not an owner, as a GM and as a organization from top to bottom? Getting our star quarterback some goddamn talent. I just don't think that's, again, I understand where you're coming from. But you can also make the argument that Andy Reid has made Mahomes a very good quarterback as well. just like Bill Belichick maybe made Tom Brady. Tom Brady does that in Chicago. Maybe he's not Tom Brady. Patrick Mahomes is a quarterback on the Colts. Maybe he's not, Patrick Mahomes. What I'm saying is, and this could be an argument for like ever. If you're the organization and you have a very good quarterback, or at least a quarterback that seems to be top 10, top 15, and you are very much not getting him weapons, whether or not the excuse is he can make 4th, 5th, 6th rounders good, that kind of says something to you as an organization. I understand needs at the time, right? Like maybe your defense does need to get better. The Chiefs, for example, need to get better on defense. But why aren't you getting you guys were about to hear a bang. Why aren't you getting an Aaron Rodgers? Much better talent. Peyton Manning won 1 Super Bowl with the Colts. He had Marvin Harrison. He had what was the tight end's name? Was it not Dallas Clark? Was it Dallas Clark?
Yeah, Dallas Clark.
Dallas Clark.
Reggie
He
Wayne.
had some guys that were good. Why did he only win 1 Super Bowl?
Peyton Manning?
Right? Like,
Because
yeah,
he couldn't
like,
play in the winter.
Well, I don't know if that's an excuse because he still won a Super Bowl. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he still went to Baltimore. He still went to the New England. Like, he's still
Who?
good. Like, Peyton Manning.
What do you mean he went to Baltimore?
Or they went to the Colts, whatever playoff they won when they won the Super Bowl. But now
You're saying no.
But now you're
Peyton,
saying
it's not a
excuses.
secret. Peyton was a dome guy. The only Super Bowls he got to was the ones he hosted in his dome.
So then how did he win
He
in Denver?
couldn't play in the cold.
How did he win in Denver?
Dude, he didn't even start that season that he won in Denver. He was
still
benched.
won in Denver.
The defense won in Denver.
Okay, sure, but like
Facts.
The
now you're
no-fly
giving
zone.
the weather as an excuse. Why isn't talent an excuse? I guess that's kind of where I'm
The
getting.
weather, no,
That's-
because players choke, and you got to know why they choke. Peyton Manning couldn't play in cold weather, and everybody that knows Peyton Manning knows this. And Aaron
But
Rodgers
that's not an
scoring
excuse.
one
To be a-
touchdown.
to be a quarterback in an NFL. You're telling me
Well,
a Hall of Fame quarterback has an excuse, but Lamar Jackson can't choke. He can't choke once.
No, it's not
and
an
be
excuse.
written off.
It's a bruise on it's a defect on his career. It's not an excuse. People
That's
don't
an
want to be
excuse.
remembered. What do you mean an excuse? I'm not excusing anything. I'm telling you what made him a bad quarterback in the playoffs.
Every quarterback
that
has
he-
to play in the cold weather, though. So
Yes, this is not an excuse. I'm not excusing it because there's no justifying on the other end of this. I'm just
Right.
telling you, Peyton Manning was bad in cold weather. If Aaron Rodgers can drive down in the first series in the 49ers game, in the NFC Championship game last year, or 2 years ago, and score a touchdown, or a divisional round, score a touchdown on the first drive, and that shows you right there, he had the talent to do it. They couldn't score another touchdown the entire game.
Aaron Rodgers.
So it's, yeah.
So, but
They-
Aaron Rodgers
they went
plays
down-
in cold weather all the time. Why is he?
No,
only have
Aaron
one
Rodgers
Super
likes
Bowl?
cold weather.
Why does he only have 1 Super Bowl?
Because that's what I'm telling you right now. He didn't play good that game.
So, okay, my whole reasoning, and I kind of love that we're having this argument, is that again, like I feel like there's got to be talent around the quarterback. I don't think there's excuses whether like this is one of the reasons I feel like I'm in defense of Lamar Jackson.
Well, you're
Is
forgetting how hard
because-
it is to win a Super Bowl. Like, there are quarterbacks that Drew Brees only has one.
And how hard is it when you
He-
don't have talent around you? It's much harder. How hard is it when
Unless-
you don't have first round
yeah.
talent around you?
And it is hard. It is very difficult.
So
But that's
what are
why
we talking
Lamar
about
needs to
Jackson?
stop, because he's trying to get paid like Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. And he's not Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. They win a lot of Super Bowls. Mahomes will win at least 6, just like Tom Brady. And that's why they are different than Lamar Jackson. Like, if you want to pay Lamar Jackson the same way that you're paying Brett Favre when he was a Packer, then sure, go ahead. But Lamar Jackson wants to be paid more money than Patrick Mahomes. Like, no, you don't get
he
to.
wants guaranteed money. So, and
Yeah,
this is what I'm saying. So if
why
you're,
would a player that can't stay healthy get guaranteed contract?
so why would you give Josh Allen $258 million when he can't win a big game to save his life?
He could win the big game. We already talked about
He
this.
hasn't.
We saw.
He hasn't. It's been 3 years, and he hasn't. And he's
They
proven
changed
he
the rule
hasn't.
because if he would have got the ball, no, that's such a fucking stupid thing to say. He went back
How are you
and
going to
forth
tell
in
me?
the. He went back and forth in the last 7 minutes, touchdown for touchdown with Patrick Mahomes,
and
and
couldn't
proves
win.
that there's because he's not on defense. He didn't get the ball last. What do you mean he couldn't win?
So what happened last year? What
It
happened?
came
this
down to
past
a
season?
coin toss. He was hurt.
He was hurt this season?
Yes. He was hurt
When
all
was-
season. You know how you don't know about it? Because he's not a bitch and doesn't sit out of playoff games.
Good point. But he still didn't win it. So why give him 258? 258 over a contract.
Because they paid him after he went toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes. They didn't pay him this offseason. It's what you've done for me lately, and that's what the NFL is always going to be. So if he got paid after going toe-to-toe with Mahomes, so be it. He didn't get that contract after this, and Joe Burrow still hasn't gotten paid. Lamar Jackson sure the hell isn't going to get paid. He hasn't done anything since 2018.
2019.
2019. That's a long time ago. In football years, that's the average career of an NFL player is like 2 seasons. So that's an entire career away what Lamar did.
I guess it's just like it comes down, and man, this really should have been argument of the week right here. God, like what the fuck? Bill's saying, "Ooh, shots fired at Lamar by Kyle. How come you didn't know he was injured? Because he's not a little bitch." All right, well, this is argument of the week, and we're gonna put it on the YouTube
Definitely
and,
argument of the week.
and everything. This is a good one. Again, I feel like the injuries just happen in the NFL, man. It is what it is. You can make an argument that I guess Josh Allen should have not played that game because yeah, you can be not a little bitch, but you can also hurt your team by not, getting arguably your best wide receiver in the game during that big playoff game. And you've lost 3 years in a row in the playoffs. This year you're supposed to go to the Super Bowl. This year you're supposed to be Super Bowl MVP. This year you're supposed to be MVP. Then you kind of shit the bed in the playoffs. It's like they paid him for his past performances. 100%, I get that. But they paid him, I think, before, if I'm not mistaken, I think they paid him before that. Or maybe it's 2021. Either way. 2 years in a row, sure, you go toe-to-toe with Mahomes. But if you can't win the big game, then I can understand the "what have you done for me lately" thing. But
well, after
they're 3-9 without Lamar, and that's that Lamar has Mark Andrews, as his only weapon in the entire offense, and a couple of running backs.
Well,
that's just kind of where I'm at.
No, I understand that, but after the game that he had with the Chiefs, nobody said what you're saying right now. Is that like, well, he couldn't win the big game. Like when he went and did that golf tournament with Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen, he sat up there and all the conversations were not if he was going to win or he can't win the big game. He had so much dignity after that way that game went as a historical game that people knew it was just a matter of time before Josh Allen brings a Lombardi. And that's why they were the Super Bowl favorites going into the year. When Lamar Jackson makes the team that he's on a Super Bowl favorite going into the season, then we can talk about real value. Like Lamar Jackson's never had the Ravens being a favorite to win the Super Bowl, but he has never had a playoff game like Josh Allen had. That's the real bottom line here. It's like you can't say Josh Allen chokes in big moments because of last season, because we've already seen him have incredible performances. When Lamar Jackson does that, he can get a seat at the table, but he doesn't have a seat at the table.
You don't think that Lamar had the Baltimore Ravens as a Super Bowl favorite after he won a unanimous MVP in 2019?
The Ravens were.
I think there was some conversation about the Ravens going to the Super Bowl that year in 2020.
Well, that would make sense. What have you done for me lately? But what year was he in?
Yeah, he was year
Because
2. It was a rookie
quarterbacks don't get
contract.
paid in year 2. Joe Burrow is going into his 3rd year with no contract.
Yeah.
And he took his team to a Super Bowl and almost a second in 2 years.
Mhm.
This
My
is
whole
a part
argument,
of your
though,
rookie contract.
my whole argument is, again, I'm not making excuses for anyone, but I think there's like a good 2 arguments here. A good quarterback or a great quarterback, right? Let's say a Patrick Mahomes, a Joe Burrow. Well, not even Joe Burrow. Tom Brady can make these guys, and Aaron Rodgers can make the players around them really, really, really good. Josh Allen needed Stephon Diggs to really get going. Joe Burrow had Jamar Chase year 2 after his injury, and T. Higgins, and I'm blanking on the 3rd wide receiver other than T. Higgins and Jamar Chase.
Tyler Boyd.
And he's got Joe Mixon at running back. He was getting sacked a lot, sure, right? But he was still able to get those weapons off. So the organization did something for those 2 guys. They were able to get them weapons because they knew that they're like fucking Steve, such an instigator. They were able to get weapons for those 2 guys because, hey, Josh Allen maybe does need a wide receiver 1. Joe Burrow, we got Jamar Chase. They had that connection in college. Let's fucking get them together. Let's see what happens. Sparks flew. Now they're probably one of the best quarterback wide receiver duos. Lamar Jackson won the unanimous MVP in 2019, and the Ravens is still like have not given him any sort of weapons, right? Like I feel like you have Mahomes and your Tom Brady's and your Aaron Rodgers who can make guys good, but you also have your Josh Allens and your Joe Burrows that have really, really, really good weapons, and in a sense, maybe that's why they're good.
It would be a waste.
We haven't seen Joe Burrow without weapons. We haven't seen Josh Allen without weapons. We haven't seen them in the same situation that Lamar Jackson is in, right?
You saw Aaron Rodgers without weapons.
That's what I'm saying. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, those are the guys that can definitely make guys good. We haven't seen Joe Burrow without weapons. We haven't seen Josh Allen year 1 for Josh Allen was probably a different story. He was a rookie, whatever. That was the only time maybe he didn't have weapons. But look what happened when he got Stephon Diggs. Look what happened when their defense got really, really good. And look what happened when you paired up Joe Burrow with Jamar Chase's college teammate, and you already had T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd in there to kind of like round off that wide receiving core. I guess what I'm saying is there are quarterbacks who can make other wide receivers, running backs, tight ends really good, like an Aaron Rodgers, like a Brady. But there's other quarterbacks that maybe need weapons in order to succeed, because I think
I hear you.
He's not going to be one of those. Sorry, I'm just getting frustrated over here because of my goddamn internet.
What's changed?
I think maybe Justin Fields.
Man, remember Steve?
I think Justin Fields needs to have those weapons.
About Steve, not really, but
no, I totally hear you. So Lamar has, let's see, Patrick Mahomes had 5,000 yards passing this year with absolutely nobody at receiver. And you can add his unanimous MVP season, his first season in almost 2020, and not get 5,000 yards passing from Lamar. He had 1,200 his rookie year. 3,100 was his unanimous MVP. Not even 4,000. Justin Herbert's had 4,000 receiving with obviously Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. But let's not act like it's like Mike Williams and Keenan Allen are like top 5. You know, they're barely on the field. And he had 3,000 and his unanimous MVP, 3,100. Lamar's never even gone over.
But he had 1,000 yards rushing that year as well.
Who cares? You're a fucking quarterback. If you're literally
asking, who cares? What are you talking about?
It doesn't matter.
That's offense. Because the fucking weapons around them. What do you mean? This is what I'm saying.
No, why would you? It would be a waste of talent to bring Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd away from a real pocket pure quarterback. Joe Burrow is a pure quarterback. He's going to throw the ball. Lamar Jackson's going to get, 3,000 yards passing? If he's going to run the ball, then you don't need what is it? Are we giving him weapons and he's going to be a pocket quarterback? Or do you want him to run for 1,000 yards and we're not going to invest in the receivers because he's going to throw for less than 3,000 yards? But you can't have both. It just doesn't make sense. Like, I understand the argument with Aaron Rodgers. No, because receivers are going to end up getting frustrated. They're not going to want to play. It's not good for their career to every time they get wide open to look back at their quarterback and he's running. Like, even Jalen Hurts can run the ball. We saw him run for over 75 yards and 3-4 touchdowns, but you never, ever thought that he was going to, unless it was a designed run, he was not going to use his legs first. He's always keeping his head downfield, always trying to make a play with his arm. And that's what you want a quarterback. Like, to say, like, oh, you bring in all these receivers for a quarterback that isn't even going to use them almost unless they're not immediately open is just, to me, a waste of resources.
But I don't think the Bears bringing in DJ Moore is a waste to DJ Moore. It's trying to get Justin Fields to progress as a passer and still have that asset of him running the ball, being able to rush for he rushed over 1,000 yards. I think he almost beat Lamar's record. And that's kind of to my point. So why didn't you bring in a number one wide receiver for Lamar Jackson instead of hoping Hollywood Brown was going to be a good guy, or
maybe he could have been
Andrews was going to be the only one? Hollywood Brown.
Maybe Hollywood.
Shit. He's had.
You know what's crazy about that argument, looking back on it, is that Mahomes made it to the Super Bowl with Hollywood Brown. And I'm making the case that if you want to be paid like Mahomes, then you should be able to raise the level of the receivers playing around you. And that's why Mahomes, is Mahomes, is because he's able to go to a Super Bowl with the guys that, during this time period. I think this is 2021. Rick's making the case that, like, why does Lamar have guys like Hollywood Brown? And, like, those are the guys Mahomes made it to the Super Bowl with. And it's crazy, too, because at this time, Stephon Diggs was with the Bills, and it was like Josh Allen's successful because he has Stephon Diggs, and then Diggs gets traded to the Texans. And then Josh Allen still won an MVP. And, I would be willing to say, like, looking back on it, I was wrong about Lamar Jackson, but I wasn't wrong about the main point that I was trying to make, was that Lamar Jackson hasn't done anything to lead us to believe that he's going to win a Super Bowl. He just hasn't. And this is all those years later. It's like, what's it going to take? I mean, he has Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers. You got Bateman. You bring in DeAndre Hopkins. You got a stellar secondary. You drafted Nate Wiggins. Last year, the Ravens were the most loaded team in the league. And it's like, okay, well, if you can't win it with that team. Hazard, what are you doing? Mary? Come on. Hazard, downstairs. Come on. I'm trying to get it out. Whew, everything's good. We're good. What happened? Wow. Man, I was scared too. I'm like, what is going on? There was like animals up here, and then I like smelled something, and then I went downstairs, and I'm like, Mary was cooking eggs, and was like hard-boiled eggs, and then forgot about them, and all the water evaporated, and then the eggs were just burning, and smoke was coming up, and then I ran downstairs, and then I couldn't find her, and she's feeding Bo in the bedroom right next to me. Tyler Lindenbaum, look at him getting to the second level in these blocks he's making. Boom! He's looking for. He looks disappointed on some of these runs when he can't find anyone to hit. There's a throw. Drake May down 11 with 12 minutes to go. Do you guys know when you can file your taxes? Oh, man. Drake May is going to turn into the new Mahomes for the Collinsworth Glaze Fest on Sunday night. Dude, none of these people are real. I sold something on Marketplace. I swear none of them are real. You go into a place, they should be able to give you a little bit of a loan, even possibly like you can file. Even probably like you can file them right at the end of the year, I think. Really? You can file them at the end of the year? I didn't know that. I'm going to have to look into that. Drake May looking. There it is. Diggs. Over 100 yards tonight. Man, this offensive line's doing a great job for New England. What? Who caught that? Kyle Williams? All right, so they're going for 2 to make it a 3-point game. Ball snapped. May. Touchdown. Or 2-point conversion. Oh, there's a flag down late. If you go and do an H&R Block, show them last year's stuff. And like you're going to be getting some kind of thing. Maybe they'll hook you up with a loan. Am I selling this too cheap? It's 55-inch LG flat screen TV. Let me see. $200. About $200 online. Mm. Mm. How do I get someone that's a buyer to prove they're real? Let's see what the internet says. I need Houston. I need the Ravens to win today. Let me check. If the Ravens win today, if the Ravens win today and Texans win tomorrow, let's say the Ravens win today, and then next week the Texans win, and we win. Oh, we're the 1 seed. We're the 1 seed. We would be the 1 seed if the Ravens won today and the Texans beat the Chargers. And the Texans are still playing for something, I believe, because oh man, here come the Ravens moving the ball. Man, it's like I've gotten 5 messages and it's all fraud. Here's Lamar Huntley on a huge third down. Well short of the first down. Well short. (21-24) Harbaugh. Just gonna try a hard count here. I don't think he's calling a play. The way he covered his face while calling the play, I don't know. It felt kind of fake to me. Wow. There was movement. It's going to be on the Ravens. He was trying to draw a penalty, but the defender didn't jump into the neutral zone. He jumped, but he didn't. Bounce. Now, if the Colts win their next 2 games and the Chargers beat the Texans, the Colts would get into the playoffs as the 7th seed. So if the Colts let's see, if they lose that game, then they would be 8-6. Win. So if the Colts finish 10-7, tied with, that's crazy. So the Texans could lose out, and the Colts could win their next 2. One of them being against the Jags, the other one being against the Texans. And the Colts still wouldn't get in if they lose tomorrow night. I don't understand. So the Colts have to go 11-6. Houston would be 10-7. So Houston's current record's 10-5. The good thing is the Colts control their own destiny because they play the Texans week 18. So the only thing out of their hands is, the Chargers beating the Texans. And they struggled today with the Raiders. So I think the Chargers could beat the Texans. And then if the Colts win tomorrow night, all of a sudden, all you need outside of your control is the Chargers to beat the Texans, and you control your own destiny into the playoffs. What's crazy is that, and I said this in the beginning of the year, I was like, there's going to be teams with double-digit wins that are going to miss the playoffs. And that is going to happen maybe more than once. Mac Hollins with a big play down to the 32-yard line. Let's see. Ooh, Kyle Hamilton. There we go. Here's Jones going all the way downfield, jump ball, and there's a flag. Wait, how is there not a penalty? How is there no flag? He tackled him. How is that not a penalty? That is crazy. They should be on the 3-yard line right now. That is the most obvious missed call I've ever seen. I mean, that is like in the same territory as the Saints NFC Championship missed call to the Rams. Wow. Fourth and 2, they're going for it. They still have 3 timeouts. Drake May. Oh my God, it's caught. It is almost a pick 6, but he just missed it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That is by far the worst call of the year. By far. Wow. Here's Stevenson. He's going to score. Yep. Touchdown. Yep. And you know what they say? Ball doesn't lie. Ball doesn't lie. I don't know why they're saying Drake May's the MVP. Not saying he's not, but that was Ramondre Stevenson that made that play. Here's a return. They're going to need at least. Well, they only have 2 minutes and 3 seconds, and they need a score. Tyler Huntley. Oh my gosh. He just threw a hospital ball. Threw a hospital ball to Hill. Oh my gosh. Another injury for the Patriots. Pats have been gutting road wins out without getting credit. What do you mean without getting credit? Who hasn't been giving them credit? Let me show you something. Week 13 power rankings. Patriots crack top 5. That's now a shocking 9 straight wins, but Sunday's 26-10 didn't feel like a celebratory victory. They barely escaped Cincinnati, with Drake May looking lost during the Patriots not converting on 2 big red zone possessions. They ultimately finished the job, but the big concern was Will Campbell and Jared Wilson getting injured. Oh my gosh, he just got the ball stripped out. That's what Zay Flowers gets. That's what you get for holding the ball like that. Zay Flowers had the ball out like this. And that's why the Ravens aren't going to have a winning record after today. It's nothing about today. It's all year. The Ravens just don't do the little things right. Lamar Jackson can't stay healthy. He didn't play in this game. This is their entire season. Like, the Ravens lose this game, they cannot make the postseason. And where's Lamar Jackson? His back hurts. Here we go. It's funny. The guy that I traded Jonathan Taylor for, look at that. An obvious run situation. And the Ravens let him run for 10 yards, pick up the first down. They have to burn their second timeout, so they have one remaining that they'll use on first down. And second and third down will be 120 seconds. And what does that leave? 20 seconds? And I don't know why we're assuming that the Ravens are going to get a stop now. Derrick Henry fumbling the ball, Zay Flowers fumbling the ball, and I've interviewed a Ravens fan before the season starts 3 years in a row. And I remember asking him, like, going into this year, is not winning a Super Bowl last year a little bit like, why? A little bit like, why would we believe we could win a Super Bowl now if we couldn't do it then? Like, what are you supposed to do with a team that is unanimously the most talented team in the league that doesn't win a playoff game? And he was like, no, we don't really feel like that. And now it feels like we're coming to the end of an era. Like, what do you do with John Harbaugh? What do you do with aging guys like DeAndre Hopkins? What do you do with Zay Flowers, who hasn't been paid yet? Do you invest in Zay Flowers? He's the first wide receiver to make the Pro Bowl for the Ravens in 23 years. What, like, do you tear it down? I don't know. Do you give John Harbaugh another year and just say, yeah, it was a weird year? I don't know. And right now, what Chris Collinsworth is saying about the Patriots is what I was saying today. He said, I think the Patriots needed a loss. It reset them, all of that stuff. And I feel the same way about Denver. The only thing I don't like, look at that. 2nd and 14, and Drake May. 2nd and 14, and Drake May runs it with nobody even contesting. So MVP chants are not just now starting, Chris Collinsworth. They've been going on all game. Welcome to Sunday Night Football. The only thing about the Patriots, I'm just not going to pretend that beating the Ravens with a backup quarterback in a year where they've been mediocre all year, and beating Tampa Bay with a completely depleted roster 5 weeks ago is very impressive. I think the Patriots can beat very impressive teams, but I'm just saying this one win doesn't move the needle for me. This is like what now if the Patriots came out here and won 35-10, I don't know if it would have moved the needle much either, because the Ravens are just not a good team this year. The Ravens have been bad all year, and the only reason they were able to play competitive today was because they were able to run the football, but they put the ball on the ground a couple of times. I mean, like when the Texans played the Ravens, they beat them 44-10. I mean, that is a significant win. The Rams beat them by 15 or 14 points. Let's see, the Bengals beat the Ravens by 32-14. The Steelers beat them. I feel like the Steelers right now are playing pretty close to where I have the Patriots. Like if the Patriots and Steelers played, I don't know who would win. I think it would be a very close game. And we're going to get Ravens-Packers definitely without Lamar. Lamar's done for the year. So even if I somehow get 20 points tomorrow and make it to the finals, man, I'm in a tough situation. Pats won 10 games in a row without a bye. Then they had a bye, a bad second half versus the reigning MVP, and everyone rushed to write them off. I must have a different algorithm. I'm not seeing that, but if you're seeing it, I think that's dumb. I mean, Buffalo's a really good team, and I mean, but that was always going to be a split series. I predicted that to be a split series. I personally, on my Twitter algorithm, nobody's been writing off the Patriots as. I mean, how do you write off a team that's going to the playoffs? I don't know how you even do that. I don't think the Patriots are a Super Bowl contender, but I think they're ahead of schedule. And I think Mike Vrabel, I mean, look at these coaches. Mike Vrabel, Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen. These are three coaches that have their teams in the playoffs on three teams that were out of the playoffs last year. Not only that, but three teams that had like 3 wins total last year that are now at 11 wins. Pats were underdogs heading in this game. I don't know how. I really don't. I don't know how people can. The Ravens are just like the Chiefs. I mean, they keep becoming like betting favorites because everybody just keeps thinking this is going to be the game. This is going to be the game where we're going to get vintage Lamar. And now that he's didn't play in this game and he's hurt again, which he broke the record if he plays next week, he'll break the record for most consecutive weeks on the injury report, but played. I think he was 1 week away from breaking that record all time. I mean, he was on the injury report for being sick this week. He literally hasn't showed up without an injury designation all year. And yet people thought that the Ravens were going to come out and win this game. I mean, it's one thing to be hopeful. A lot of people are hopeful. I mean, I'm hopeful that the Colts can beat like I'm hopeful for a lot of things at this point of the year because of the playoffs. Like I'm cheering for a lot of very odd things. I'm cheering for the Texans next week to beat the Chargers. Now with if the Lions wanted to get in, they need the Packers. The Lions won the next 2 weeks, and the Packers lost to the Ravens, and the Packers lost to the Vikings. The Lions would get in. So, like, Lions fans are going to be cheering for the Vikings. It gets weird. Being hopeful is one thing, but I don't know why people have these, like, what do you call it? Like the kid that can do no wrong. It's like the opposite of the redheaded stepchild. It's like the Chiefs and the Ravens and these teams that no matter how hard they try to show you that they are not trustworthy, nor are they good, everybody refuses to believe it. And it's funny because usually, like, you'll have a group, but they'll back off like week 10, week 11. The Ravens bandwagon was legitimately ridden all the way till their elimination game, just like the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs there were still people like until it says eliminated next to the Chiefs, I'm going to believe they get in. It's like, why? You know what I mean? Like, they have to show you something. I mean, it's like you're assuming that the pressure of elimination is going to make them play better. But they've been under this pressure for 3 weeks, and they haven't won any of those games, so why would it change now? And yet, people refuse to believe. There's only a couple teams in the AFC that are actually competing. You have the Jaguars. I would say the Steelers, because of the way they're playing ever since Kenneth Gainwell has become the focal point of their offense. Their defense is playing better, much better than they were earlier in the season. The Steelers, the Jaguars, the Patriots, the Buffalo Bills, the Chargers, the Texans, and the Broncos. Those are the teams that can make a legitimate run. And I would take the Steelers out and say probably not a full run. Buffalo, I would say, always has a chance because they have Josh Allen, but I'm not convinced. The Texans, just in my opinion, don't have a good enough offense. That leaves the Patriots, the Broncos, and the Jags, and the Chargers. I don't know how I feel about the Chargers, and then it's like, okay, now we're with the Patriots and Broncos, and it's like, is that, going in today, I felt like the Patriots and Broncos was probably going to be the AFC Championship game. Now I'm thinking it very well could be the Jaguars and hopefully playing in Denver. But, man, the fact that they won today is going to make them think, we can win in Denver. We just did it. And I hate that. So I'm hoping it's not them. I'm hoping anyone else comes. Now, with only 2 weeks left, if we beat the Chiefs and Chargers in the next 2 weeks, and let's say the Chargers win against the Texans and the Jaguars win their next two against the Colts and the Titans, which is like probably, and now I have the Steelers beating the Ravens and the Steelers beating the Browns. That's just kind of like a no-brainer. I'm not even going to mess with the Ravens anymore as far as simulation goes. And then the Patriots, they play the Jets, and then they play another meaningless, terrible team, the Dolphins. So this is probably going to be how it goes. Denver would be the 1 seed if they win their next two. The Patriots would be the number 2 seed if they win their next two. The Texans would be the 7 seed if they win one of their next two. If they win, one of their next two. That one being Week 18 against the Colts, the loss being against the Chargers. Now, even if the Colts lose to the Texans Week 18, nothing changes. Like, if Jacksonville beats the Colts Week 17, the Texans don't even have to play their starters Week 18 against the Colts because they would be locked in as a 7 seed regardless if the Chargers beat the Texans and the Jags beat the Colts next week. So, I mean, I feel like the playoff picture is pretty clear. Like, unless you have Jacksonville losing to Tennessee or the Colts, or the Steelers losing to the Browns or the Ravens with a backup quarterback, the only major curveball is the Broncos losing to the Chargers Week 18. And let me show you how different that is. If the Broncos win their next two, they're the 1 seed. The Texans would play the Patriots in the wild card round in New England. The Chargers would play Jaguars in Jacksonville. And the Buffalo Bills would play the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. Buffalo would probably, I think Buffalo would win. The Chargers going into Jacksonville. I don't know if, that would be a crazy game. I feel like that is crazy. I think those are 2 teams that could have been in the AFC Championship, but it is going to be forced in the wild card round. The wild card round is by far the best round. And then you're going to have the Texans playing the Patriots. Now, that brings up a point. Texans, Patriots. We haven't seen that game this year. So, oh my goodness. I mean, we haven't seen that game this year. And remember, just a couple weeks ago, the Texans were 6-5 with games against the Colts, the Chiefs. They just got done playing Buffalo. And yet now the Texans are just the Texans are just 1 win out of their remaining 2 away from being 10-7. And with that defense, let me say this. Drake May has never gone this year against a top 10 defense. So we don't know what he will look like against a top 10 defense because we haven't seen it. I'm not saying he's not good. I'm not saying I expect him to rise to the occasion because Drake May looks so dominant over bad defenses. That's what I would expect a quarterback that could play good against a good defense do a bad defense. I'm only suggesting a fact. No context with it, just Drake May hasn't done it. You do with it what you will. And if the Texans win their next 2 games, instead of losing to the Chargers would become the 7 seed and they would play New England. The Texans would then play the Jaguars. So the Texans getting that win would put them in position where, okay, you're going to play the Jaguars instead of the Patriots. whoever wins the Texans-Chargers game is playing Jacksonville, and they don't have to go to Foxborough and play the Patriots. I don't know if that's a better thing or not. I don't know if you'd rather go to Jacksonville and play in Florida or Foxborough in January. If you're Justin Herbert in the Chargers, you probably would want to go to Florida, but then again, Herbert went to Oregon. So then the Broncos would have the first round bye. If the Chargers win, it would be Chargers, Jags, Texans, Pats, Bills, and the Steelers. If the Texans won, it would be Texans, Jags, Chargers, Patriots, Bills, Steelers. But week 18, look at this. If you take the Broncos and you give them a loss and the Chargers win, New England becomes the 1 seed. Denver becomes the 3 seed. Buffalo stays the 5. Pittsburgh stays the 4. But Jacksonville moves to the number 2 seed. And the Chargers become the 6 seed. Unless they win week 17 and week 18. And then Denver moves to the 5 seed. If the Chargers win their next 2 games and Denver loses week 18, beats Kansas City but loses week 18, Denver moves to the number 5 seed. And they would play Pittsburgh, which I don't think is that bad of a matchup, honestly. So if Denver beats the Chiefs and then loses week 18, like we're playing the Steelers, okay. I mean, I guess I'm okay with that, really. I don't think that's that big of a deal. The one thing that I would be upset about is not hosting a playoff game because I feel like the city deserves it. You know, it's been over 10 freaking years, and the place is going to go crazy, and we had it right there within our grips, and I would hate to see them lose it. But it's crazy to think being 13-4 would have them as a number 5 seed. 13-4, the 5 seed? Wild. And for the Bills, I didn't even do them. They're playing the Eagles. So if they beat the Eagles and beat the Jets, Denver would become the 6th seed. And then they would play the Chargers instead. So things get really weird very fast if Denver loses week 18. If they don't lose that game, everything's pretty calm. Patriots, the 2 seed, Jacksonville, the 3, Pittsburgh, the 4. And then I think if the Patriots beat the Texans and the Bills beat the Steelers and the Chargers beat the Jags, then the Bills would play the Patriots and the Chargers would go to Denver. And then we would get a Bills-Patriots rematch and a Broncos-Chargers rematch in the divisional round. How fitting of a name for 2 division rivalry games taking place in the divisional round. And at that point, Denver would be just 2 weeks removed from playing the Chargers in Denver, and they would do it again. And the Patriots won the first one. The Bills won the second one. Who knows who would win the third one? But if you ask me, I think that's going to be the divisional round. I think it's going to be the Patriots hosting the Bills and the Broncos hosting the Chargers. Jags have looked monstrous this last couple of weeks. Yeah, and I mean, honestly, like the Chargers-Jags game, I'm just going to put that in the I have no idea category. Sometimes I don't even want to make a prediction because sometimes it just making a prediction insinuates that I have a nudge, and sometimes I don't at all. How can I predict something I don't have a feeling on? And that's one of those rare games where I'm like, no clue. If the Jags and Chargers play, I don't want to make a prediction. It would be a lie. And I think I would feel very similar about the Texans and Patriots. That's how you know the playoffs are going to be fire this year, because I feel like I can't predict any of these. Like if the 49ers played the Eagles, I would be like, yeah, the 49ers are going to win. The Eagles kind of stink. If Green Bay with Jordan Love play the Bears, I think the Bears win. If the if the Rams played the Panthers, I think the Rams would win. It's not as difficult. The AFC is tremendously difficult for me to figure out. I feel like all these teams are like capable of going to the Super Bowl or losing in the first round. Look at what the Jags already did to the Chargers a few weeks back. Today's win proves that was no fluke. Oh no. Well, I never thought the Jags were fluke. You know, not at all. I mean, it's Liam Cohen. He did the same thing to Tampa. He went to a team that was ranked 30th in rushing yards per game and made them a top 3 rushing team in 1 year. And look how Tampa Bay is struggling offensively. Look at the down year Bucky Irving's having without Liam Cohen. Look at the kind of year ETN's having with Liam Cohen. It's night and day. And Liam Cohen is obviously the difference. It's so obvious. So, no. Liam Cohen is the real deal. And Trevor Lawrence is the real deal as well. And he's playing the best football of his career right now. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. All I can do is hope my team's the last one standing, because what I can hang my hat on until today was that we have the best defense of all these teams. Today was one of those days where I'm like you said earlier about how the Patriots lost and everyone decided to write them off. That's going to happen with Denver now, but I got to make sure I don't do it. Like, okay, they had a bad game defensively today. What about all the other games that we've seen this year? I mean, they're on pace to break the record. They had the best red zone defense in the NFL, the most sacks, the most pressures. I just can't throw it all away because of a bad game. I can't. But at the same time, it's concerning. Hopefully, though, it's not a trend, and I can hang my hat on the Broncos having the best defense in the AFC, because that's ultimately what wins you playoff games in January, is having an elite defense. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching football today. Sunday football was a hell of a show. Tomorrow, we got the Colts and 49ers, and then the Broncos and Chiefs on Christmas Day. It's gonna be crazy. We got 4 football games during the week, so it's gonna be a really good time. But that's all I got for you today. As always, hit the like button on your way out. Tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. I'll see you guys in the